everybody in Gaza has three, four, five, six kids. If you're that close to aid, you're not going to go back empty-handed to your children who haven't eaten for 3 days. So of course, this is creating a huge number of problems. You can imagine why stampedes are happening. You can imagine why people are invading warehouses, and then you can imagine why things are getting out of control, and Israeli soldiers are feeling frightened by a bunch of unarmed people and then shooting them dead.
Yes,
So yeah,
walking
this is a
in a
huge
threatening manner, I
disaster.
believe, is the new crime. Walking
Yeah, exactly.
in a threatening
And
manner.
exactly. And that's the thing, is that when there are no international journalists allowed in Gaza, this kind of thing is completely opaque. And it's unfortunate, but the Western media just simply will not say that, look, if the context that's always provided in any Western article or an interview on television or whatever is that the war started after Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th, which is technically true, I guess. But the context is never Israel makes these claims, however, bars all foreign journalists from entering Gaza. Therefore, we see no reason to take them seriously. Like there's no it's just kind of ridiculous. If the Israelis aren't going to let journalists into Gaza, it's perfectly obvious why that is. Like if Iran invaded Iraq and barred all foreign journalists from entering there, we would know exactly why they're doing that. It's not complicated. If Iran said it was for their safety, which the Israelis claim, we would laugh hysterically.
Yeah.
Especially if Iran had killed more journalists in the last 19 months than in all of I think it's all, if I remember the numbers right, Israel has killed more journalists in Gaza than all who were killed in World War One, World War Two, the U.S. invasion of Iraq, the Balkan wars of the 1990s, and the war on terror, including the second attack on Iraq combined.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering the numbers from the Brown study of war paper, these numbers are insane. So so the Israeli claim that you should just believe us because of course we're telling the truth, except for we've killed all the journalists who could have told you the answer, and we don't allow any more to come in is hard to believe for any rational person.
And of course, if they were killing Western journalists, we might hear more about it. But because they're not killing Western journalists, they're killing often the local journalists, then that seems to be somehow acceptable. The word that is bandied around a lot and gets a lot of traction, many people think it's absolutely true and it's hard to see otherwise, is genocide. A genocide going on. From what you saw on the ground, would you describe it as such?
I people ask me this all the time, and I don't mean to be coy by not giving an answer, but what I say is I don't think anyone should care what I think about what, for me, I would be a witness in a genocide trial, not a judge, because I don't know anything about these things. Like I could tell somebody what I saw, and then they have to determine if it's genocidal. Well, so let's just ask, what did the people who study genocide for a living say? They all say it's genocidal. And furthermore, you're talking largely about Israeli and American Jews. I just woke up, so I apologize. There, the names are Omer Bartov, Amos, I forget his last name now, but anyway, there's dozens and dozens and dozens. And furthermore, just to be clear, they've been saying that, a lot of them have been saying this since October of 2023, saying, look, just listen to what the Israelis are saying out loud. On a week or two after the October 7th attacks, there was a group of several hundred international jurists and genocide scholars who signed an open letter saying that Israel is going to commit genocide in Gaza. The International Court of Justice, the way the Genocide Convention is worded and works is extremely bizarre. It's like legalese taken to 1,000, but the way it's hard to interpret the International Court of Justice's findings in any way other than meaning that they believe that Israel probably is committing genocide in Gaza, that Israel is possibly committing genocide in Gaza, and they need to. It's worth investigating further. So yeah, I mean, if all the genocides, if the large majority of genocide scholars in the world, including Israeli Jews, say clearly and plainly that Gaza is being subjected to genocide, I don't see any reason to doubt them. It doesn't matter what I saw on the ground or not. And just to emphasize that point about me being a witness more so than a judge, Omer Bartov is probably the world's leading living Holocaust scholar. The greatest Holocaust scholar was Raoul Hilberg, but he's passed away. Bartov wrote an article in the New York Review of Books, maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago. And when I was reading it, I actually was surprised to see my name come up. And he referenced a New York Times piece that I had written where I had polled 65 American healthcare workers about children being shot in the head or the chest in Gaza. And now he cited it. He didn't make any qualification. He didn't say, well, but this might not be true. He didn't say, oh, look, I'm not Muslim, but he didn't say, oh, look, it's a lot of Muslims that answered the poll. These people are all anti-Israel fanatics. He didn't say any of that. He just cited it and moved on because it's obvious that there's no reason for 65 American healthcare workers who don't know and don't even know each other to coordinate some massive lie. Like it's just completely ridiculous, you know? So I think we should listen to the genocide scholars on that question. And they seem to be pretty clear about it.